planning. There are as many different ways to plan as there are homeschoolers, so I will just show you what works for me. I use a mom binder, an everything binder. This has worked well for me for years. Just a cover page. We belong to HSLDA, so I keep this here for easy reference. Never had to use it, probably never will, but it's nice to know exactly where it is. This is my daily routine. This is in a perfect world, if everything goes right, this is about what we'll do. It never ends up being that way, but at least it's a starting point. You'll notice this is a routine, not a schedule. There are no times here. If we wake up at 6:30 or we wake up at 8, we just keep going. These are the resources that we will be using this year. This can change. It has changed multiple times as I plan, and that's okay. I just either print a new one or I can cross something out, add something else. Next, I have a year at a glance. And the only thing I knew for sure is these 2 weeks for Christmas, probably taking off the whole month. But other than that, we just kind of take it as it comes. Illinois does not have any requirements for reporting or tracking days or hours, so I don't have to do an attendance tracker. But for my own peace of mind, I shoot for 18 weeks of school before we break for Christmas and 18 weeks of school before we break for the summer. Now for each of my students, I have a tab here, and this one is Olivia's my oldest. She'll be going into 6th grade. These are just some math helps that I'll put in her binder. Now this is her daily routine for the week. Again, these are routines. This is if everything goes well or goes according to plan, but nothing ever does, and that is okay. We do 4 full days and a light day on Friday, leaving room for appointments, projects, if she needs extra time to work on a writing assignment, or just to have a nice lighter day. I cannot do lesson plans. It just doesn't work for me. I am a type B personality with perfectionist tendencies. So planning bothers me, and then when the plan doesn't go right, that bothers me, stresses me out. So instead, I do checklists to keep me on track. This is for her spelling. Some of her resources come with a checklist already, and that's this one. This is where she left off last year, and we will just pick up again and keep going. Her math also comes with a checklist. I probably will not grade her individual lesson worksheets, but I might start grading her tests this year as she enters middle school, just to kind of get her feet wet with grades. Now this one is her writing, and it did come with a schedule, but it wasn't as easy to read. I needed a quick reference, so I just typed it up into this list. You can see here I've just marked, if I make it somewhat close to this by the time we break for Christmas, awesome. If not, it'll give me an idea of how to reevaluate our expectations. Okay, so for science, again, I took her science book. Now this one did not come with its own checklist, so I just used the table of contents and typed it up. Here's her history. Again, pretty much just the same, using the table of contents from the resource, typing it up into a quick reference list. We can check off as we go, and that helps me know where we're at and what we need to do next. Instead of lesson planning, we are a do the next thing. When we sit down to do a subject, we do the next lesson, the next chapter, the next work page, whatever the next thing is. The next time we sit down, we pick up where we left off. So that is Olivia. And you can see here, this is the actual print off of the table of contents for her history. This lets me know if I want to see ahead of what topics we'll be covering. And I have done that for almost all of her subjects and resources. A few that I have not included would be her piano, because that's an online app, or her handwriting, because that's just a workbook that she can just pick up and do the next page. I don't really need to keep track of that. I've done the same thing for each of my other kiddos. You can see Evie has a little bit less. She's only in 3rd grade. Isabel, even less than that for 2nd grade. And then here's my little tag-along preschooler. She doesn't have anything yet. This is just a little reminder of the things that we can do if she's in the mood. Here's a checklist I made for our read alouds this year. I do not expect to get through all of these. I just made a list of the ones that we have sitting on our bookshelf that I'd like to start reading. Check them off as we go. I can always add more. And I like to keep reference in here, Read Aloud Revival's book list. This one shows me the Magic Treehouse books that we already have, so I can reference for historical time periods that we might be looking or interested in. These are alternate books that would go with our history curriculum this year, which is actually civics and government. And that is my binder. I've got a couple other things back here. I like to look into personality types. It helps me kind of wrap my head around each of my girls' needs. But other than that, that is it. That is how I plan my year. It is super straightforward, simple, and we can never be behind. We're never off schedule. We just simply do the next thing.